If you gave me a choice and you were like, right, Julian, you've got a choice to make as much money as you can as an affiliate with either YouTube or with a website on Google, I'm going to pick YouTube every day of the week because the traffic converts so well. It's very easy to create content at scale with video if you have the right processes. So if you make it as efficient as possible, then you can create a lot of good quality video content and rank it pretty well. So you're not just getting that traffic for your video there, but also if you do it in the right way, you can rank on Google too. Like for example, for me last year, some months we were getting 1 million views a month from YouTube, which is absolutely outrageous. And a lot of that traffic actually came from Google search, like 96% of it. I would pick video every day of the week, like converts better. It's great for EAT. It's great for building a real brand. It's great for showing you're a real person. And in the age of AI, just differentiates your content from everyone else.
I'm John Wright, and you're listening to Affiliate BI, the business intelligence and affiliate marketing podcast brought to you by StatsGain. Welcome to the Affiliate BI podcast. Today we're chatting with Julian Goldie. He is a link builder and the founder of Goldie Agency. And I follow his tweets on YouTube, and they've captured a lot of attention around the world. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about AI in some context. Julian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
So I'm back from Brighton, and I was surprised and not surprised to hear that people think that Google's kind of lost the plot with the quality of their product. And I want to get your take on that.
Yeah, super interesting right now. I saw like the stock price, for example, for Alphabet is it's just going to the moon right now. It shows no sign of dropping. I think that's probably the biggest sign of how well they're doing. I know certainly in the SEO space, we're all kind of I've seen a lot of negativity, a lot of tweets around, talking about how the results on the SERPs are not that good. I honestly think like if you step away outside of the SEO bubble, a lot of people are not that upset with the search results. Like for example, I had a mate who messaged me yesterday and he was saying, search generative experience has just come out in Dubai where he is. And so he's for the first time ever he saw like these AI generated results. And usually personally as an SEO, I don't think they're that good, like the content generated from SG. And I asked him, like, what do you think to these search results? Do you think SG is good or not? Like, were you happy? He was like, yeah, got my answer straight away. I was done. I was like, yeah, maybe sometimes we're inside our own SEO bubble and we don't like what's inside the SERPs. But when we step away from that and you look at like the average consumer, they don't really care. Like they're happy enough with the results.
Do you think that video is going to play a key, um, what's the word? Like a key point in what people are looking for a search result?
I think if you look at any of the updates over the last few years, YouTube is just growing exponentially. Like even with search generative experience, one of the top three websites to benefit, if you look at some of the recent case studies, is YouTube. And I think that's because it just delivers really good quality information and the algorithm is all about value, right? Like you can't fake the metrics on YouTube. If your video is not good, people won't watch it and it won't get clicks. So I think YouTube is becoming more and more important when it comes to content. And also in a world where anyone with one click of a button can generate like a 3,000 word article, whether that's good or bad. If anyone can do that in the world, then the power of video is becoming more and more important because it creates something different and creates a different dimension to content.
I might ask a question later on. How do you do video well? Because what you're doing on the video content side is really good.
Thank you.
So my next question is, I want to talk about the key takeaways that I got from the Brighton SEO conference, which is write unique content and don't use AI. Use AI to write unique content. Digital PR is the new link building. Always be building a brand. Automate your workflows as much as possible, and then hit video hard. What do you have to say to all of these things?
Yeah, I mean, which one do you want to cover first? We can cover the AI one if you want first. I think
Yeah,
that'd be an interesting topic.
definitely. Let's jump into that.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, like we are talking about, you can generate content with one click right now. And it's very easy to bulk generate a lot of content. You can put up a 100-page site in like one day. I've done it many times in the past just for a fun experiment. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. But with situations like that, I think that the best fusion is really human and AI content together because you probably know yourself when you're generating content with AI, it can be very, very powerful, but it can also hallucinate. It can have lots of fluff in there. It just spins old content, so it doesn't really add any sort of new information gain to your content as well. There's nothing new in terms of value. And so you need a human there who can like edit it step by step, check for facts, check all the statistics inside the content, and then also edit it so that there's actually something new and valuable inside that content. Because if you just create another guide like the other 100 that are already ranking on Google, then that content is not useful at all. And it's just going to cost Google more to index it, which means they're going to clamp down on it more.
So maybe a direct question, which is kind of a self fulfilling one for what we have to do, which is affiliate program reviews. How would you go about the process of like taking an affiliate program review as using AI, and what would you do to this entire article? Like obviously the fact checks, that's one thing you do just by default, but would you basically rewrite the whole article, or would you just kind of add the human element where you think it actually needs to belong?
Yeah, really good question. So for me, I think step by step, like the best workflow is to number one, like just plan out the content. You can leverage AI for that. That's really good. Like for example, if you use something like Neuron Writer, so for SEO, you plug in the keyword and then you know exactly what you need to write about based on what's already ranking. And that can help you structure the article. And then from there, if you're actually generating the content, say with AI, I think you can use any of these tools. Like they all work. So for example, you could use auto blogging, you could use Surfer, etc., to generate the content itself. But the third step, after you've done the content outline, after you've generated the content, is the most important, which is the checklist and going through step by step how you can improve it. I've got a step by step checklist. Welcome to include it inside the description, no opt-ins or anything like that. But essentially, making sure that you match the search intent, asking yourself like, does this content demonstrate expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness? Did you add something new to the content? These are all steps within the checklist that I think anyone who's publishing content that they actually care about has to run through. Because otherwise, your content is just fluffy trash generated with whatever AI tool you like.
Okay. I think I feel more comfortable knowing what to do with AI content. That was the panel. What you just said there was probably one more panel that I probably could have walked away with at Brighton. Let's jump right back into video. So one of the comments I had was hit video hard, and there's a panels that talked about how video is going to be like very key moving forward, where it can be part of like maybe the SGE results where you just can't always fake video. And I'm not sure if Google's going to want to just take all your content from video and rewrite it for you. So, what's your take on video moving forward?
Yeah, I think video is amazing. I think honestly, if you gave me a choice and you're like, right, Julian, you've got a choice to make as much money as you can as an affiliate with either YouTube or with a website on Google, I'm going to pick YouTube every day of the week because the traffic converts so well. Every time you create a high quality video, you're creating something new. So it's got that information gain inside there. Number three, it's very easy to create content at scale with video if you have the right processes. So if you make it as efficient as possible, then you can create a lot of good quality video content and rank it pretty well. And then number four, like you're ranking not just within YouTube, so you're not just getting that traffic for your video there, but also if you do it in the right way, you can rank on Google too. Like for example, for me last year, some months we were getting 1 million views a month from YouTube, which is absolutely outrageous. And a lot of that traffic actually came from Google search, like 96% of it. And so video's the one. I would pick video every day of the week, like converts better. It's great for EAT. It's great for building a real brand. It's great for showing you're a real person. And in the age of AI, just differentiates your content from everyone else.
I agree. And would you say that, one reason why people don't do videos because they got to get uncomfortable and they got to start from somewhere, and they're worried about, how they speak, and they don't have experience, or they're trying to perfect video, but they never get it done?
Yeah, 100%. It's just a totally different skill, right? Like, I think writing a blog feels so accessible to anyone because anyone can sit down and if you've got a keyboard and a mouse and WordPress, anyone can create a blog. With a video, there's a lot more elements to it, right? Like if you look at my first few videos I created, absolutely terrible. I wouldn't recommend anyone here watching it. And it takes a long time to master video. It's a totally different skill. Like you were saying, you have to be articulate. You have to express yourself well. You have to come with different angles. You have to be charismatic on camera. Not that I'm saying I am, but I think this helps, and this is a skill you develop over time. So, yeah, it's one of those. And then also, particularly in the SEO space, I love SEOs. Like, I go to the conferences, we have a great time, plenty of great people on my network, but we're kind of a little bit introverted and a little bit geeky sometimes, and we don't want to be on camera because that involves actually interacting with people.
Yeah. You might not want to be on camera, but there's the demand for the SEO space for people that want to listen to you and listen to others and have like actually just be, well, maybe they're not going to be part of the conversation, but they actually want to consume it. I think the demand is definitely there.
100%. Yeah, I mean, like in every category, right? Like, I don't know about you, but for me, if I want to learn information, I don't really go into Google and type something in now. I just go into YouTube, and that's the first place I always start because I typically find the information is much better because that algorithm is based on engagement metrics. And I think as SEOs or online entrepreneurs, we're typically like 3 or 5 years ahead of the trend of the normal population. So video and YouTube content and the demand for it is only increasing over time. Like 5, 10 years time, like video is just going to be bigger than it ever was.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting you say that where I think a lot of people aren't self-reflecting going, how do I learn or where do I look for content? So, there's been a lot of talk about TikTok being a place where people are actually using that as a search engine. And, I'm just kind of wondering, like, has Google, everyone thinks that Google's going to maybe lose their market share to Bing, but maybe that's probably never going to be the case. But instead of going to Bing, people are going to YouTube or YouTube Shorts or Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah, that's it. Actually, I mean, without going off on a crazy tangent, I saw the news about TikTok potentially getting banned in the US. If that's the case, then SEOs are going to squeeze another generation out of Google. So I think that's probably good news for SEOs who rely on Google. But yeah, YouTube is the best place, honestly. And the other thing I think about YouTube as a platform, right, is like because the performance of videos is based on user metrics. It's like click through rate, how long people actually watch a video, etc. Because these are user engagement based metrics, I think that the content on YouTube is typically a lot better than what you'll find on the SERPs. So, for example, if I want to find information about how to use ChatGPT, typically the videos that serve to me are going to be ones where a lot of people have watched a full tutorial and clicked through to it. Whereas if I go on Google, it's more about the authority of that website. Two totally different metrics, two totally different results.
And would you say I kind of feel like I know the answer to this question, but do you go to YouTube to do keyword research to say, okay, you'll use like a tool like Ahrefs and it'll say like zero volume, and then you'll find a video that just has like 10,000 views per month, just continuously growing. Are you using that as your kind of look at, is this keyword valuable?
It's a really good question. The way that I've tried to track the value of each video recently is by creating lots of videos. So I create one daily across many different topics, and then I'll track the UTMs inside that video, right? So I'll track the URL and add a UTM at the end to see which videos are producing the highest ROI. And then that way I'm not chasing the views or I'm not chasing the attention or the subscribers. I'm just chasing the ROI from that video. And so over time, you get a lot of data, especially if you're publishing daily, in terms of which videos are converting the best because you're tracking the UTMs. And then you can easily figure out, okay, these topics convert the best. So I'm going to produce more content around these topics. And all those other topics that were not producing any sort of ROI, I'm just going to eliminate and save myself a lot of time.
So let's take like a topic like affiliate program review, or it doesn't really matter. Would you say it'd be wise to consider answering pieces of content within an actual text article with the video snippets where you're kind of going, okay, we're going to talk about this one element within that long form content and give it its own video? Would you say that would be a good way to enrich that article, not to mention cannibalize like the video aspect of it?
That's a really good question. I've never tried that approach, honestly. But what I typically do is when I'm building out websites around certain topics, like I have a bunch of SEO sites in the background that rank for different terms and funnel leads and sales to our agency site. And these sites that rank, what we do is we pick a certain topic. It might be like local SEO in New York, and then we'll insert videos related to that topic from my YouTube channel throughout the content. And then I think that improves the on-page metrics in terms of how long people stand on the page. But we don't answer like one question for each particular section because I think it'd be too narrow and too it'd be too specific. Like for example, if we've got one section inside the article that's like how to do link building in New York, it'd be way too specific to do a video about that unless I had a lot of time on my hands,
I
which I won't.
guess I guess the answer is context. Depends if we can include like let's say the 20 to 60-second snippet, perfect. But if it's super deep, um, maybe there's a time and place. But I guess this could be a case study.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be an interesting case study to see for sure.
So do you think affiliates don't do enough video? Because I mean, the chatter on Twitter slash X is that affiliate sites are getting smashed with like, just all the changes that have happened in the last 6 months with Google. And I'm just wondering, it's like when I think about affiliates, I don't always think about YouTube.
Yeah, very good point there. I mean, for sure, like affiliates, I wouldn't like to be an affiliate running a blog right now. Like, it's way harder than it's ever been. And Google obviously doesn't like them, right? Like, if you look at how many affiliate sites have been hit over the last 6 months, it's not a good omen. Whereas if you look, for example, in the e-commerce space or somewhere like that, the e-commerce sites are doing really well since the update. So yeah, I think YouTube is a really good opportunity for affiliates. And also, I don't know about you, but if I see a really good video on YouTube and it's say recommending, I don't know, a briefcase for men, something like that. If it's a really good video and I see like there's a decent, maybe the production value is really good, something like that, then I'm like, I'm going to click on this affiliate link just to say thank you because that is a good piece of content and I know what it takes to create a video. So I kind of respect like how hard it is to create a good video and I'll happily reward that as a consumer.
And I think enough affiliate marketers don't do that. Thanks by clicking on the link. It's the irony is that I've been guilty of this too. It's you see an affiliate link and then you go to the site direct and you're like, I'm not doing that. And then, but it's like, wait, they're not doing that for you too. And yeah, it's the lack of thanks in the affiliate space.
It's a savage industry. It's same in the SEO space, I think. Like some people just Google the brand term instead of clicking on the affiliate link.
Yeah. You said something that was interesting, which is like ecom has been one of the beneficiaries, and it seems like e-com's going up, affiliate sites seem to be going down. And I'm just kind of thinking out loud, like maybe if you're doing these videos in YouTube that are meant for your affiliate business, I wonder if Google's going to interpret it as more like an e-com thing. Not to say that Google's intentionally rewarded e-com, but it's just whatever's happening right now. It just seems like e-com is actually kind of looking cleaner or better than affiliates. Do you think that maybe video could be an extension to make yourself not fake like you're an e-com brand, but I'm just wondering if the perception could be, very different.
I think the perception is definitely different because it makes you look like a real business, a real brand, right? Like if you're getting all your traffic from SEO and nowhere else as an affiliate, then you look like just another affiliate trying to make money off SEO. Whereas if, for example, Google can see like your website is getting traffic from YouTube, from Google, from Twitter, from LinkedIn, etc., then there's all these signs to validate that you're actually a real business, a real brand, and therefore you're not just like an affiliate trying to survive off the dregs of Google.
So I did want to ask, how do you do video well, or what would you advise to other people when, I mean, you obviously will look at video in a different way, just being a video producer yourself. So how would you say, people can fix their videos, or what should they do if they're getting started, if they want to kind of up their game and make a video that's worth getting the likes and shares and everything?
Yeah, I think best thing you can ever do if you're just getting into the game is do a 30-day challenge for YouTube and then publish a video every single day and just don't stop and learn to publish consistently because with that volume of videos consistently every day, you're just going to become better and better. And because all your mental energy is focused on that and your time as well, the difference between your first video and your 30th is going to be absolutely huge. I recommended this to Kaz Dash, who's also in the SEO space, and he grew a channel from like nowhere to, I think it's got like 4,000 subscribers now. So he did that 30-day challenge and it helped him a lot. And it just helps you build workflows and processes as well to create videos in a really efficient way.
Yeah, I've been working on LinkedIn for 2 years trying to get good at that, and it's taken a long time. But would you say with YouTube, maybe, I guess just to kind of set the expectations of what people should expect, you're not gonna get amazing in 30 days, but would you say like 6 months is a good, kind of amount of time for staying at it, being consistent before you think someone should, reap those rewards?
Yeah, that's it. You got to give yourself enough time to get good at it and enough time for your audience to find you. And so publishing consistently for 6 months is a really good way to look at it for sure. Just commit to it long term. I think the other thing as well, like it doesn't matter how many views you get or how many subscribers you get, you got to chase the money, not the views. So for example, back when I was first publishing, I only got like 100 or 200 views per video. But I didn't really care because when I looked at how many clients we were generating from those videos, it was paying for itself. We were already making six figures by the time, I was getting like 200 or 300 views per video. So it didn't really bother me like how much traction you get or how much attention. What bothered me was what's the ROI.
And do you think that there's a lot of people that they focus on, well, if I don't make 100,000 views per day, then I'm not going to make money? Because I think a lot of people, they're automatically assuming that the revenue is proportional to AdSense. And what you said, I think is true because we're in the B2B space. And I've got a cousin who's getting so much traffic on YouTube. He's got like the YouTube awards. I'm like trying to tell him, I'm like, mate, you don't understand. I can do small videos that might get, like you said, a couple hundred clicks or a couple hundred views, but I might actually get a couple customers out of that. And to me, I look at those videos as being valuable. And I think there's not a lot of people talking about what you can actually convert within these videos.
Yeah, it's crazy for that. Like, I think YouTube is so public, right? So everyone can see your subscriber count, everyone can see how many views you got. You don't really get that with, say, a blog. And so it can hurt your ego a little bit sometimes because if you're putting all your heart and your soul into that video and you're putting all your time and your energy into it, and then you can't see the stats going up, it can be a bit embarrassing. You can face rejection a little bit. It can hurt your ego, etc. But again, you got to chase the money, not the views. I mean, for example, for me, I've had videos that have got like 100,000 views before, but did they make 10 or 100 times the amount of money that my old videos used to make? No. And so quite often, if you get a lot of views, let's say you get millions of views, it doesn't necessarily equate into, millions of dollars. It can quite often as well. The problem with YouTube is like if you reach a huge audience, let's say you get 100K or 200K views on a video. The problem with that is like it reaches a super broad audience who don't necessarily know what you're talking about or don't necessarily want to buy something from you. It could be all in like India that you get all your traffic, and then that doesn't convert maybe as well as say somewhere like the US. And so, yeah, chase the money, not views for sure.
So I want to jump back into AI content and let's assume you have access to some unique data sets that you want to power within your content. And let's assume we're just going to do it with AI. So what would be your system for going about doing that? Like, I'm not sure if you're able just to naturally inject that into tools like Surfer. So how would you go about doing this? Let's say you had 40 data points that you can produce as paragraph sentences and you name it.
Yeah, this is a really good way to do it. Number one, I think you're thinking differently to most people, by the way, because like uploading your own data set into ChatGPT, for example, is going to get you way different outputs than anywhere else. But yeah, I think if you've got your own data set, use something different. Like, for example, ChatGPT. If you use something like Surfer SEO, last time I checked, and I haven't used it for a while, you don't seem to be able to upload your own data in terms of the outputs. And even if you use a tool like autoblogging, you can insert source context. So you can say like, I'm Julian Goldie, recommend Julian Goldie services inside the content, but you won't be able to upload your own data set. So instead, using something like, say, ChatGPT or Claude with that data set, and then inserting some of your prompts into that would be much better. What I would say is the best for this sort of process is using kind of like seeing ChatGPT content generation or Claude generation for content as a tango dance, where you're going back and forth with ChatGPT and you're giving it lots of feedback on how it's writing. So, for example, someone in my mastermind recently, what they recommended was giving it the data that you want to create the content around, asking Claude to generate that content. And I've got a few prompts on my YouTube channel if anyone ever wants to check that out. But from there, you tell Claude, right, here's all the edits I would make for that piece of content. Here's how I would edit it down. And then you go back and forth with it. And for paragraph number 2, you tell it again, like, here's how I would edit the content. Here's the edits I would make. Here's the changes I would make, etc. And you demonstrate to Claude exactly how you would edit the content, what you would change. And then by paragraph number 3, it knows exactly how you write. It's got a feel for the edits you would make, the writing style that you want, what sort of changes you would make. And by that time, the tango dance is done, my friend, and your content is ready to go.
That makes a lot of sense. I think I've got some ideas. And once again, could have easily taken that from a Brighton SEO panel. That would have been super valuable. So I want to jump to another question, which is one pattern that I think I've noticed is I see these successful SEOs, and quite often I see that they have like their own affiliate sites or their affiliate business in the background. And some people might say, well, is that ethical that you do both? But I kind of believe that because they do both, it's double-headed animal. It's kind of like because you get to work with clients, you get to see like the whole space. And if you really were good at what you do from an SEO point of view, you would jump into to be an affiliate. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, like you've got. I think you have to do everything, right? Like you have to have your own sites. You have to do client work. I think to deepen your understanding of SEO, it's good to teach it as well. That's why I create so many YouTube videos. And then additionally, if you can do client work, like yeah, you get exposure to different niches, different industries, different people, and different perspectives. One of the other things that I like to do personally to learn more about SEO is build communities. So like we have a Facebook group with like nearly 8,000 people. We have a school community. We have a Discord community, etc. And so like I don't think I'm the best SEO in the world, and I know there's a lot of people I can learn from. So I'm going to try and get them around me as much as I can. And so, yeah, doing your own affiliate sites or your own portfolio sites, I tend to steer away from affiliate these days when it comes to SEO because I think it's a really tough time, like we mentioned about. And instead, I'd rather send traffic to my agency. So I'll like rank multiple sites in the SEO space, generate leads and traffic for my agency that way. And that gives me a lot of test data as well that I can learn from. And then we'll do client work, we'll build communities, I'll teach it as well. And then I can just broaden my understanding of SEO from every angle.
And I had a question that had to do with like, what could I do to grow this podcast? But I guess we could apply it to any podcast in general, whether it's affiliate or anything. So, what would your tips be to grow a podcast to get more, not just the engagement? Let's assume you've got that part covered, but how do we get it ranking better?
Get it to actually rank your podcast on Google.
Well, Google, Spotify, or maybe even from a link building perspective, like how do we get this like more known? What would your kind of go to market strategy be if you had to like take your own podcast or someone else's podcast and say, okay, we're gonna build links for it. We're gonna try to get it planted in more areas beyond Google.
Yeah, so the method that I used when I was first getting started was two things. Number one, extremely crazy case studies. So like if you can demonstrate stuff that people have never seen before and showcase new case studies and that sort of thing, then you're going to stand out and you're going to be different from everyone else. As a practical example, back when I was trying to get noticed last year in the SEO space and cut through the noise, I would do crazy case studies like how I published 1,000 articles in 60 minutes and then with AI, right? And like that time, people would click on it and that would get a lot of attention. Some of those videos got like 50,000, 100,000 views. Didn't recommend it. By the way, I don't, anyone watching, don't recommend doing that. But when you can do crazy case studies like that people have never seen before, and it has a lot of sort of unique value to it, then you'll stand out from everyone else and you'll cut through the noise and you get a lot more attention. Like what I noticed was like people would share that with their own company Discords, their own company WhatsApps, etc. People send out via email, and it was just like something shareable, went viral very quickly. The second thing that I would do is try and leverage the network of other influencers, which I think you're already doing. I think, for example, like you reached out to me, and for sure when this comes out,
Thank you.
I'll share it to my audience, and that's a really good way to grow and get more attention, right? So networking, getting more people with bigger audiences than you, and then asking them to share it afterwards is a great one. Yeah.
Awesome. We're coming down towards the end. You mentioned mastermind. So you have a mastermind, and I've heard this from guys like James Dooley, Craig Campbell, and I'm pretty sure that others are doing this in the background without always talking about it. Um, where do you find a mastermind, or would you recommend someone set one up, or what are the benefits of masterminds, and yeah, why should we get into it?
Yeah, one of the best ways, well, number one, I would just set it up yourself, right? So if you have a network of people, for example, like you just went to Brighton SEO, I'm sure you met some really good SEOs and affiliates there. Personally, I would try and recruit like two or three of them, and then arrange a call every 2 weeks or every month where you can problem solve your issues together. This is far better than any other way of generating a mastermind because it's unique to you. You know who you can work with. Sometimes there might be like really successful people, but you just wouldn't get on with them. You just couldn't have a call with them, right? And there'll be other people that you click with really well. And that's the type of person you want in the mastermind. And then when it comes to running the actual mastermind, I would recommend just having a setup where you have one leader, they set the timer, and everyone in the group gets 5 minutes to explain their problem and 15 minutes to problem solve it. And when you've got two or three people on the call, it's just an hour long each mastermind session. You do that every 2 weeks or 1 month, and you learn from each other that way. What I tend to find is a rising tide lifts all boats. So even if you're same in the same industry, like for me, I've been in masterminds with my biggest competitors in the link building space, but we'll happily help each other out because we know there's no secrets, right? It's just the fundamentals, and therefore you can give as much value as you can to each other. And if they win, you win, and you all learn things together.
Amazing. I'm definitely going to dig into that a bit further. I appreciate that. Last question, which I ask everyone, is what do you see of the future of affiliate marketing as it intersects with business intelligence?
Yeah, I think YouTube is the way. I think YouTube is the future of affiliate marketing. I don't think there's much of a future for affiliates on Google. And I'm not saying like give up or close down your website. I'm still this. I've never met so many SEOs making so much money from affiliate and everything else right now. But I just think if you look 5 years down the line, it's going to become harder and harder for affiliates on SEO and easier for affiliates on YouTube.
I agree. Julian, thank you so much for doing this. How can people get a hold of you if you want them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so if you want to get in touch, feel free to jump onto juliangoldie.com and you can book in a free SEO strategy session. Or if you just want to check out my content that's free on YouTube, just type in Julian Goldie on YouTube. That's it.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Affiliate BI podcast. I'd like to take this time to ask for a small favor to leave a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. That helps us expand our reach to rank higher in podcast directories and reach more listeners.